guys, we're back. I've got my sculpture. I've got the tool that I'm going to be using in the oven right now, firing it so that I can work on this now. Some things we're going to do. See how his neck is folded right here and how he just had a talon fall off? Alright, we're going to have to adjust this because that's going to be a... Oh boy. His arms are coming off. His arms are crumbling. Look at this. So I'm going to have to figure out how to put his arms back together. May have to completely re-sculpt the arm, because that's not quite right. So it should have never broken off because that was made out of one piece. So alright, now grab a few little bits of this clay here and see what we can do. That's the biggest problem with Sculpey, is that prior to getting it in line, it will break off. And that becomes a nuisance in and of itself. So I'm going to take another piece of this clay to re-sculpt this arm. There we go. Now, gotta smooth this up right in here. Now, let's go ahead and do what we gotta do. Alright, as you can see, his neck is folded in right here, so we're gonna have to get ourselves a tool to kind of indicate this. Now, I think this tool right here, the slight chisel brush, the chisel bit ought to do the job. I'm gonna go ahead and smooth down the head just a little bit. Like I said, this stuff's kind of brittle at present, so I'm hopefully not gonna have too much issue out of it. So I'm just kind of envisioning how the skin's going to fold up on itself. Now, so I'm just going to be wanting to put a lot of little kind of folds along here and just kind of smooth them out. Now, he's also going to have a little bit of a crease right in here. And there's that milk vein. I don't know. I don't know why they would have them being reptiles, but I've never seen or seldom seen a dinosaur restoration that doesn't include it. And I'll include it a little bit, maybe some sort of veinage or something. Now, we got to work on the scales. And that's going to be fun. Now, I'm going to work on the scales up here on the head. And for that, let's get us a proper point here. And I don't want to get something too sharp because I don't want to cut into it. But I do need something that I can actually draw these scales on with. So, because some of these are not going to be able to, our little tool won't touch these unless I can make a smaller set of tools. The tool we've got won't touch up here around the face very well. That's going to be painstaking. So I'm going to have to do a lot of that. Just kind of, and then just kind of a hint of that up around the eye. Grab this end, just keep going. Okay. So this is okay. Now up here, we got enough flat up here. I might be able to make that tool work. I'll go ahead and get his lips made along here. See, I'm trying to hit up on places where I might not be able to use the tooling. For whatever reason. Like, for example, I'm going to have to get this tool here because this arm is trying to crack. Now, like I said, the advantage of Sculpey is I could have used a wire armature underneath it. And that would have probably helped taking care of this problem, but it'd crack, and the only difference between that and not using a wire armature is that the arm would crack anyway, and then it would just be there within a wire armature. So there's not a whole lot of net gain from having the wire armature, in my opinion. So it's mostly up around the face where you're going to have issues. It's going to be up here around the face where you're going to have your issues. Yep. What was that? Ladybug. We've been getting a lot of those getting into the house. Now, as you can see, we're starting to get some semblance of a pattern. Now I'm going to be putting some little nodules on it once I get the skin in place. Little osteoderms. I'm a little worried about these teeth, but I think they look pretty sharp, literally. Alright, we're going to set him down for a few. I'm going to set him down on this side. So I got to figure how I'm going to put him onto the platform to bake in the oven without him falling over. Because he's, I don't know, he might set up like that if we're real careful. But in the meantime, we're going to set him down on this side because we're not going to be in there right now with it. Let's see. I don't know, we probably still need to do a little bit more on his face. I was going to stop, but I think I'm going to have to keep on going with it here. As I can get in underneath here. There's T-Rex's excellent nose. There we go. Let that set a few minutes while we go check on our tooling. Alright, as you can see, we've got our tool here. Still a little bit warm to the touch, but we're going to test it and see how it works. So, we have to carve it down a little bit as it's not. Let me try it this way. See, it's not really giving us what I need. As I said, this is kind of an experiment. Should have made it deeper. I'll live and learn. Or just apply more pressure. Now that might work. Sort of apply more. I don't want to apply too much pressure, but I think I'm going to end up having to use something else. The tool is not a bad idea, and if I was working on a bigger project, this would be great. But I think, honestly, I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way, and that doesn't sound like fun, but we'll have to do what we got to do. So, you see, you can get a little hint of it. See what I'm going to do before I get started on this. Let's go ahead and add the osteoderms, which are going to be like little plates or spikes or nubbenses that are going to be on the side of the Rex. We'll go ahead and add those first. Now, I can't tell you with 100% certainty that Rex had these, but we're going to add them to ours. Just simply because of the fact that I think it'll make him look a little more dinosaur-y. I'm pretty sure there'll be somebody who's paleontological that's going to say, nope, he did not have those. Well, that's fine too. I'm looking more at the pop culture concept of T-Rex rather than the historical or the scientific. Let's see. Now we're going to come over here. Spin him around here. Make a plate. We're going to put it right in here. Basically just kind of large bony plates, and that'll actually not like a stegosaurus, but just kind of big, you know, large heavy scales on the back rather than actual bone. Like I said, just kind of there we go. Now here comes the time-consuming part. Now for this, seeing as I'm going to be having to do this by hand, I'm going to go ahead and go with this. So I can jot these circles down pretty quick and kind of dry brush them out. And just kind of get rid of this excess that's on them. And he probably would have been just fine without him, but I'm wanting to emphasize not so much the bird aspects of the Tyrannosaur. Even though, honestly, I could probably just get away with putting some plates, some scales here and there, just to kind of hint at it, like I did up on the face, and just kind of leave it at such. Go ahead and put my wrinkles up here around where the shoulder is. Let's just see what we can come up with. Just kind of... Oh, there goes that arm again. That is going to be the bane of my existence today, I can see. You start putting delicate bits on this thing, and the Sculpey, if it don't want to play nice, is not going to play nice. And today it is not playing nice. It is not being nice today. I'd hate to have to kind of do this separate so that it wouldn't break off. Or I'd have to put a wire armature or something in there. That just would not be fun. I mean, I could probably put a wire. If it breaks off again, I may have to go look for some wire. I don't really want to do that. Now, let's see here. Try our tooling again. Just tinkering here. It's maybe just too small or too large for what I need. Probably should have made this piece just a tad smaller. Then what I'm going to do is just kind of go with that. And we'll go ahead and bake him. Honestly, the scales are not going to be as important in just about every dinosaur you've ever seen. You're not going to get that close to him to see, especially with that mouth. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and bake this guy, and we'll be back in a few to paint him. I'm going to tell you what I'm probably going to do as far as the paint on him goes. We're probably going to paint him kind of a gloss black along the body, or a dark slate gray. And I'm going to make his head bright red, probably, or yellow or something. I want him to kind of have this sort of a vulture-like appearance. Because I'm going to make some, there's going to be some other details once I get him mounted onto the thing. I'm just going to put some random large sections of plate on him just to kind of, or scales on him, just to kind of remind everybody he's supposed to have scales. Alright, and that was our regularly scheduled dead battery, brought to you by Never Ready. I'm going to go ahead and seal these in, these little osteos, little derms here. I don't want them to look like they've been smoothed in, but I do need them to actually be connected pretty decently, because I don't want them falling off. Go ahead and put some scales on this side too. Kind of a reminder. See. And if you remember how we always paint this, we always start with a black coat of paint, like my cousin showed me many years ago. And I am still using that self-same technique to this day. So I have her to thank for that, because she set me on the path in some ways. Her and my mom that always did the crafting. Of course, a lot of us did crafting in the family. I just wish they had a Hobby Lobby in this area. We'll put a few little ones up here around the neck to kind of just hint at it. So you don't have to put them all, just enough to give the idea. It's kind of like painting a brick wall at a distance. You want enough bricks on it to show that there's a brick wall, but you don't actually have to put the whole wall on there. And that's kind of what we're going to do here. And I don't know, it may turn out well, it may not. But That tool would have been perfect if I'd been working on a bigger specimen, but it is what it is. When you're making these scales, it might do better to keep the knife perpendicular to the hand so that you're not just kind of pushing the clay around, you're actually scooping it out. That way when you come back in and do that, you won't have that big a problem. Alright guys, we're going to go run him into the thing, and we'll be back with you when he's done. Alright guys, our dinosaur is now dry, and I'm about to do some painting. So I've got my paint rag here, and we're going to go with a coat of probably brown. I'll check something, see if he does seem to have a tooth out of place, but that's going to be alright. I'm going to go with a color, I'm going to go with black as our base coat, so we're going to be painting him black, and then we'll have to let him dry till morning probably. So let's go ahead and get that done. The reason we always paint black is because that way the real color of the clay does not bleed through. Now we're going to have to be gentle, especially around the teeth and the claws. So we've got to be real gentle. So I do not want to knock those loose. That would be a nightmare trying to put them back on. So yeah. I said I don't really think that it may be necessary to paint it black here, because as dark as this turned during the baking process, during the hardening process. But I kind of keep within my discipline, as it were. So I'm gonna stick with what I do and try to gently paint this. I may have to get a smaller brush to get into the mouth. I do not want to knock those teeth loose. And I don't want to knock these claws, the hands loose either, the arms. See, I'm just making the bust of him. The whole body would have been cool, but I just wanted, I'm into the doing like heads and stuff, so I wanted something that would sort of get attention, and I want to focus on this end of the dinosaur. Not get bogged down with the details of having to do feet and trying to figure out how to keep him to keep him bipedal. It just sounds like it's more trouble than it's worth, really. So, alright, now we gotta figure out how we're gonna hold him now so I can paint the other side. So I'm just gonna set him down, and we're gonna just kind of go along here. We'll probably have to, we may have to do this a couple of times to get the color in where I want it. See, there's those osteoderms. Those are gonna be painted probably I'm going to be painting the body of this dinosaur probably not much different than the color he's now painted. So I'm going to leave his body sort of a blackish or a grayish. Things I'm taking inspiration for with this are vultures and things like the anaconda that are kind of real dark colored animals. Because if he was a predator, he would have almost had to have been an ambush predator, as he was just simply put too slow to chase down anything. I know people don't want to hear that, and I'll probably get some flames over that, but T-Rex was just too slow to catch anything. You know, studies seem to show, from what I heard, that he was more of a long-distance runner rather than a, record sprinter. A long-distance walker. More like a hiker. So he could travel long distances following his nose. And that's kind of the angle I'm going with. It's going to be a tad controversial. Now, that's actually looking very good. Now, I'm going to go with a slightly smaller brush so I can get up into the mouth of our dinosaur, because I don't want to get anything that's going to be too interruptive of the teeth and all that. I mean, I suppose I could have super glued the jaw back on after I did the work, but honestly, I just really did not want to go tinkling with that now. Messing with that. I did not want to go doing that now. Alright. And we're going to be using... There we go. It ain't going to really matter as far as that goes, because I'm going to be painting the teeth first brown and then ivory and then kind of an overlay of white over the whole thing. And the eyes themselves, I'm thinking I'm going to make them yellow. And I've got some red hot glue over here. I'm going to use it and kind of put like a little bit of gore around the mouth. Anyway, there's our progress with that right now. So, he's dark right now. You can't really see much with him. So, we're going to let him dry a few minutes.